Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this XITAO 63.4 gallon water storage bladder. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost anything extra. So if we look on the side here, it lists the dimensions. So length is around 40 inches, width is around 24 inches, height is around 16 inches, and the weight is 2.5 kilograms. Needless to say, that is the empty weight. Now, if this is filled to capacity with water, the water weight would be around 530 pounds. So this is made of PVC. So let's get this open. Now, when I cut this, I'm going to make sure not to cut too deep because I wouldn't want to cut into the water bladder. So I'm just going to nick this tape. And the water bladder was right under the cardboard, so if I'd shoved the knife in there, I could have potentially cut it. Let's pull this out. So first let's take a look at the manual. We have the specs listed again. You'll want to read through this on your own. I'm not going to cover everything. So this has tips like keep it away from moist environments to prevent mildew, keep it away from fire, high temperatures, direct sunlight, sharp objects, things like that. This says if the faucet leaks, check assembly and reapply thread sealing tape. Do not use below minus 45 degrees Celsius or fill with water exceeding 80 degrees Celsius. So here are the instructions. It says open the large capacity water bladder, add water to the top, tighten the cap, turn the faucet outlet to release the water. So this is below 540 liters. So the inlet diameter here is 32 millimeters or 1.25 inches. And then the outlet is 1 inch. This shows the different components here. Let's take a look at them. So we have a cap, an O-ring. Here's a patch. This looks like some patch glue. Thread sealing tape. We have a quarter turn valve and it looks like a full port valve. So that's going to give you maximum flow. It has a 3/4 inch thread, and then we have this stainless steel adapter here. This has hose barbs on this end. So that could thread in like so. Let's open this up. So the bladder has these stainless steel hooks. It's going to be hard to open the whole thing right here, but I'll try and pull the features out. There's a window here so you can see the capacity. So if we wanted to fill this up to 31 gallons, we could fill it up to this line. Then our valve would thread on here. Now if we look at this, it's not going to thread on with the handle in this position. I could thread it on like this, but you want to make sure the valve is open, and then you want to make sure it's pointing outwards. So that will thread on like so. Although we're going to want to put some thread sealing tape on here before we tighten it down completely. Let's see if we can find the fill over here. Okay, so here we have the fill. When it actually comes with 2 of these O-rings, and that looks like it goes inside of this lid here that goes on the fill. So that can tighten like that. And you can see we have 4 of those hooks there. So I just wanted to open this up on my bench so we could take a closer look at it. But I'm going to fill this with water. I think I'm going to do it in the back of my SUV. A potential use of this for me would be to fill it with water and then use it to fill my RV. But there are many use cases for this. You could use this for an emergency water supply. Oftentimes in the wintertime, we'll have water main breaks in our area and the water will go out. Having a bladder like this, we could fill it up with water and have water ready to go. Mostly we'd use it to flush toilets and such. You can also use this for camping, RV. You could use this for irrigation. So maybe you have some plants that are far away from your water supply. You could fill this up, put it on the back of a truck or a trailer, and drive it out to the area you want to water and use it to water. You could also use this for supplying water to animals. You could fill this up and fill their water trough or something like that. So I'm going to go get this set up to fill, and we'll test filling it up. Okay, so I have this set up in the back of my 2000 Land Cruiser. I'm going to fill it here, and then for the valve, it comes with a 1 inch barb fitting adapter, but I have an adapter here to some 5/8 inch tubing. I have that hooked up to a water pump for an RV, and then on this end I have a hose fitting. Then to run the water pump, I have a deep cycle battery. So let's start filling this up. Now this does have hooks here. I'm just going to stay in my drive, but if I was driving with this, I'd want to probably hook these hooks up to the tethers. There's 4 tethers back here in my cargo area to keep this from moving around. It'll have a lot of weight to it, but that water could shift, so it would be best to have it anchored. To fill this, I'm using a hose, and I have this RV fill attachment for it. It has a quarter turn valve. It also has a spring to hold it on here. I don't know if that will work. I'm going to hold it in place at least for a while so it doesn't come out and spray everywhere. So this is 63 gallons, so it's likely going to take a while to fill this up. I'm not sure if I'm going to fill it all the way up yet. We'll see. Now if I look down here, I can see the water level. It's halfway between 31 and 42. Now this isn't going to be super accurate, but it can give you a rough idea about how much water you have in this. Okay, that's about as much as I want to put in it. There's a little bit of air in here. I am parked on a slight slope, so to fully fill it, I would really want this level. But it's very full right now. It's close to capacity. So if I press on it, you can see the water moving around in it. Now, if I wanted to fill it up a little bit more, I might be able to hold the spout up, but I think this is going to work fine for me. So here we have that gauge on the side. So I could see that water coming up as it was rising. On the front, we have the spout. I wasn't sure if this leaked or not, but there's no water coming out there. So now that I have this full, I'll take the hose and I'll hook it up to the outlet on this and we'll drain it down. Okay, so if I want to use this water, I can open this valve and let it out. So I could use this to fill the water tank on my RV. So I could take this to the fill station, fill it up, and then transfer it to the RV. Now, if you have a truck that has a high enough bed, you can just let gravity feed it into the RV. Otherwise, you can use a transfer pump. You can even put some weight on top of this, although you'd have to be careful. You don't want to damage it if you were to do that. But a pump is the easiest method. So I have the RV pump here. I'm going to use it to pump the water out. So I haven't tested any of this for leaks, so there might be some drips here, but you'll want to test this before actual usage, like if you're taking it on a trip or using it for some application. Okay, so water is flowing here into the pump. I'll turn the pump on. And now I'll turn the water on, and now we're pumping water. Now, of course, these RV pumps don't have a tremendous amount of power, but this would work well for transferring. Now, if you're doing something like filling up a water trough for animals, you could have this hanging off the bed of your truck or trailer and just pull it right up to the tank and drain it, and it will drain very quickly with that large fitting that comes with it. So that's the XITAO 63.4 gallon water storage bladder. There are a lot of uses for a water storage bladder like this. Probably the two main things I'll use it for is emergency water and transferring water to our RV. It's not uncommon in the winter time to have water main breaks in the neighborhood, so it'll be nice having water storage. Then for RV usage, I can fill this up at the water station and transfer the water to our RV without having to drive the camper all the way over to the water station. I can just use this water storage bladder. One thing I really like about this bladder is that when it's not full of water, it's very compact. It takes up very little space. It's also relatively lightweight, so I can easily store this in my tow vehicle or RV. Now this is the 63 gallon version. They do have other sizes. If you click on the link in the description, you can see those in the Amazon product page. So if you need a larger or smaller version, you might want to check those out. I'm guessing they'll be of the same build quality. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.